Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ardani Imam Rashid and NPM 224 11 173. Today I'm gonna talk about risk and return. Definition of risk and return. Risk is the possibility of loss from an investment. Risk can be caused by various factors such as market fluctuation, change in government policies, natural disaster, and after macroeconomic condition. Return is the profit or loss obtained from an investment in a certain period of time. Return can be expressed in percentage or nominal. Risk and return are two concepts that cannot be separated in the world of investment. Increasingly, the higher the risk of an investment, the higher the potential return that can be obtained. However, on the contrary, the higher the risk of an investment, the greater the possibility of investor experiencing losses. Next, risk and return relationship. The relationship between risk and return is one of the basic concepts in investing. Risk is the possible loss that may be experienced by the investor, while return is the experienced profit from an investment. In general, the relationship between risk and return is positive, meaning that the greater the relationship between risk and return is positive, meaning that the greater the risk borne, the greater the expected return. This is because investors must be compensated for the risk they take. For example, stock investment carry a higher risk than bond investment, but also have higher return potential. Here are some examples of the relationship between risk and return in different types of investment. Stock investment. Stocks are one of the risky types of investment, but they also have the highest potential returns. Bond investment. Bonds are a type of investment that is lower risk than stocks, but also have lower return potential. Mutual fund investment. A mutual fund is a type of investment that combines different types of assets, such as stocks, bonds, and money market. Gold investment. Gold is a relatively more stable type of investment than other types of investment. Gold investment risk can be caused by fluctuation in gold price in the market. Risk analysis of asset. Asset risk analysis is the process of identifying, assessing, and managing the risk associated with asset ownership. Asset risk analysis aims to protect the value of assets from various risks that can cause loss, both physically, financially, and reputationally. There are several steps that can be taken to conduct an asset risk analysis, namely, the first, risk identification. The first step is to identify all the risks that could impact the asset. Risk can come from a variety of factors, both internal and external. Second, risk assessment. Once all risks have been identified, the next step is to assess the and likelihood of a risk occurring. Managing risk. Once the risk is assessed, the next step is to manage the risk. Type of risk. Based on the source, internal risk originating within the organization such as human error, equipment damage, or system failure. External risk that originates outside the organization such as regulatory change, natural disaster, or competition. Based on the consequence. Financial risk that could lead to financial loss such as loss of sales, bankruptcy, or lawsuits. Operational risk that may disrupt an organization operation such as supply disruption, or workplace accident, or reputational damage. Based on the severity. High risk, a risk that has a high probability of occurrence and large consequence. Moderate risk, a risk that has a moderate likelihood of occurrence and moderate consequence. Low risk, a risk that has a low probability of occurrence and little consequence. Based on the level of control. Control risk that can be managed by the organization. Uncontrollable risk that the organization cannot manage. Based on the source, internal risk originating within the organization such as human error, equipment damage, or system failure. External risk that organizes outside the organization such as regulatory change, natural disaster, or competition. Based on the consequence. Financial risk that could lead to financial loss as a loss of sales, bankruptcy, or lawsuit. Operational risk that may disrupt an organization operation such as supply disruption, workplace accident, or reputational damage. There are some examples of type of risk. Operational risk, which is the risk arising from daily operational activity, such as the risk of human error, the risk of equipment damage, and the risk of system disruption. Financial risk, which is risk arising from financial activities such as credit risk, market risk, and liquidity risk. Reputation risk, which is the risk arising from damage to the organizational reputation, such as the risk of scandal, the risk of violation of the law, and the risk of losing customer trust. Natural disaster risk, which is the risk arising from natural disaster such as earthquakes, flood, and fires. Politic risk, namely risk arising from change in government policy such as change in regulation, change in tariff, and change in socio-political condition. Economic risk, which is the risk arising from change in economic condition such as change in interest rates, change in exchange rates, and change in inflation. Risk management can be done by methods include elimination, avoidance, reduction, transference, and acceptance. Next, conclusion. Risk and return are two fundamental concepts in investing. Risk is the possibility of losing money on an investment, while returns the potential profit that an investment can generate. The relationship between risk and return is known as the risk-return trade-off. This trade-off states that in general, investments with higher potential returns also have higher risk. There are many different types of investment risk, including market risk, interest rate risk, inflation risk, credit risk, and liquidity risk. Investors can reduce their risk by diversifying their portfolio, which means investing in a variety of different asset class and individual investment. Investors can also reduce their risk by choosing investments that match their time horizon and risk tolerance. Time horizon is the amount of time that an investor has to invest before they need to access their money. Risk tolerance is the amount of risk that an investor is comfortable taking. Okay. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.